What if I told you that one Canadian-born federal judge believes she has the constitutional authority to personally command the United States military, and that she just ordered the chief of Border Patrol to appear before her in court every single day for the foreseeable future? This isn't hypothetical. This is happening right now. Stick with me to the very end of this video, because I'm going to show you how one Border Patrol chief is actively defying this left-wing activist disguised as a judge, and he and a number of others are finally putting these unelected bureaucrats back in their place.
By God, gonna dominate. You're the state instruments of hard power.
In Chicago, roughly 300 federal agents and officers.
Hey, watch this force current one right here.
Securing the perimeter, rappelling and fast roping from Black Hawk helicopters, breaching several apartments within the complex. Intelligence showed that violent members of Tren de Aragua were living in the complex in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood, terrorizing residents and taking part in illegal activities.
There's been reports, anyway, of them taking over units in this apartment complex.
That was Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino. He is in charge of the Trump administration's very aggressive and very successful deportation campaign in the city of Chicago. It's known as Operation Midway Blitz. Since the operation commenced on September 8th, Chief Bavino has overseen over 1,800 arrests throughout the city. He's considered by many to be one of the single most effective law enforcement officers in the nation. But Chief Bavino has gotten on the wrong side of this woman, Judge Sarah Ellis. Appointed by Barack Obama, naturalized as an American citizen at age 15 after growing up in Canada, Judge Ellis has issued a temporary restraining order that effectively strips Border Patrol agents of their ability to use non-lethal defensive force against violent protesters. But here's where it gets truly insane. When Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino was struck in the head with a rock, a potentially deadly force attack, he responded by deploying tear gas in self-defense. And in doing so, he basically told this judge to stick a restraining order where the sun don't shine. That's exactly how Judge Ellis interpreted his actions, and so she ordered Chief Bavino to appear personally in her courtroom to explain himself and to determine whether or not he violated her temporary restraining order that prevents the use of non-lethal defensive force. Now, the temporary restraining order was issued by Ellis after she saw video footage showing a woke far-left pastor by the name of David Black being struck by pepper balls outside the Immigration and Customs facility in Broadview while wearing his clerical collar. According to testimony, the pastor received numerous commands to vacate federal property but failed to comply. Again, he has a long history of left-wing activism. Since that order was issued, Judge Ellis has hauled multiple Trump administration officials into her courtroom to interrogate them about alleged violations. And now, most recently, that involves bringing in none other than Chief Bavino himself. In fact, the latest update is that Judge Ellis has ordered Chief Bavino to come to the courthouse, I kid you not, every single day at 6 p.m. so the judge can scrutinize his actions and the actions of the federal agents under his command during that day. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. This takes the whole notion of a nanny state to a whole new absurdity. Now, seriously, I mean, think about what this means. An unelected district trial judge believes she has the authority to micromanage Article 2 executive branch law enforcement in real time during active operations while officers are under physical attack. You've seen what they have to go through. She's essentially claiming that she is the commander-in-chief. Now, obviously, our founding fathers created a single commander-in-chief in the executive branch for one crucial reason. You cannot fight a war, secure a border, or protect national sovereignty by committee. especially not a committee of 833 unelected federal judges. Imagine trying to defend America when every deployment decision, every tactical choice, every use of defensive force has to first be approved by a federal judge who may be thousands of miles away and ideologically opposed to the mission itself. It's not just impractical. I mean, it's constitutional madness. The founders understood this. That's why Article 2 of the Constitution vests all executive authority in one president, and why Congress delegated their militia clause powers to the executive branch. Military and law enforcement operations require unity of command, not judicial veto power exercised on a whim. Yet here we are. But it's what Border Patrol Chief Bavino did next that is going to absolutely blow you away. What if I told you that the progressive collapse that we're witnessing in our schools, our politics, and our culture was actually predicted 80 years ago? In the amazing book, The Abolition of Man, C.S. Lewis warned that when a civilization abandons objective truth, it loses its very soul. He saw what would happen when education stopped forming virtue and started manufacturing ideology, right? Sound familiar? Well, that's why I'm leading a 7-week live reading of this prophetic work inside our Courageous Patriot Club. And I want to give you a free preview of the first episode and a digital copy of the book. Join me and let's rediscover the foundations of truth that built Western civilization. Go to turley.pub/abolitionofman and start your free preview today. Judge Ellis didn't just issue a restraining order. She created an impossible operational environment where Border Patrol agents being pelted with rocks and explosive devices must somehow calculate in the heat of combat whether they're acting in compliance with this restraining order. Now, obviously, this is absurd. Obviously, she cannot legally prohibit officers from defending themselves against life-threatening attacks. But if you don't know, it's actually so-called journalists who were insisting on all of this. Yes, the left-wing legacy media, they have embedded themselves in these protest crowds, and they're the ones making the demand that when federal agents push back against the unruliness of the crowd, that they can't be allowed to use projectiles or compressed air launchers or chemical irritants or rubber bullets, lest the journalists get hit. I kid you not. And this judge bought into that. This judge issued a restraining order that forbids the use of crowd and riot control tactics and weapons against journalists, even though they're embedded in the freaking antagonizing mob that's actively attempting to thwart law enforcement. Now, for his part, Chief Bavino has been very compliant with this judge. He is reportedly meeting with her daily, but he has also made it absolutely clear. Federal agents are going to defend themselves against these unruly mobs. Federal agents are ultimately accountable to the president. Federal agents are going to do the job that the president tasked them to do under Operation Midway. And there is not a damn thing some narcissistic activist judge is going to do about it. There is no local police officers who are going to arrest this man. And there are certainly no federal officers that are going to arrest him. He will be compliant in terms of respecting the orders to appear before the court. He can do that. But his federal agents will defend themselves as they see fit, knowing that this idiot order will eventually be overturned, as every single one of them thus far has. And more than that, Chief Bavino has said unequivocally, I take my orders from the commander-in-chief and no one else. So bravo to this guy. Again, I think he's playing it smart. He's complying. He's going to the courtroom every day. But he's also making it clear, my boys, my agents, we're gonna defend ourselves as we see fit. And there is nothing that you, a pathetic little judge, can do about it. So he's the real deal. Now, obviously, as I alluded to, this is not about immigration enforcement, ultimately. This is about whether America still has a functioning executive branch capable of executing the law without judicial micromanagement from hundreds of ideologically motivated judges appointed by previous administrations. If Judge Ellis's theory of judicial authority stands, and it's not, thank God, but if it did, I mean, any district court judge in America could effectively veto presidential decisions by issuing nationwide injunctions prohibiting executive branch officers from performing their constitutional duties. Again, this is exactly what the Supreme Court struck down in the banning of federal judges issuing nationwide injunctions. And it looks like they're going to have to intervene again and strike down this nonsense as well at the local level. The founders did not fight a revolution against King George III, only to replace him with 833 black-robed monarchs wielding gavels instead of scepters. If Judge Ellis wants to be commander-in-chief, she could run for president, though she's Canadian, so she can never be qualified to do so. The American people did not elect her either way, and they're never going to elect her either way to command our military forces or endanger our federal officers. The Constitution established one president, not a committee of judges. President Trump, together with the conservative majority in the Supreme Court, are indeed in the process of restoring that constitutional order, as are Trump's federal agents, who are faithfully and effectively restoring that order as well.